Hey guys, today I wanted to share something that is of huge importance to me and has been of a huge benefit in terms of my own life. I get quite a lot of questions by now after my interview on Toronto Real in terms of how do you get into your heart and how do you actually utilize that. So I want to share a really basic but for me a pretty profound technique. So I'm also noticing a lot of people are struggling in life, more so than I've noticed before. I'm not sure if that's because I'm just noticing it more or it actually is that people are just struggling more in terms of they don't know what to do in their life and actually how to find that purpose and that passion in their life because they've been in a job for so long that now they kind of lost that excitement in life. So one of the things that I would always recommend people to do is start out really simple. Don't complicate things too much and be gentle to yourself when you're in this situation where everything is just going crazy and you can't figure out what to do in life. There's a timing in everything, and the more that you stress over it, the worse that it becomes. It's like the more you focus on that, then the more that becomes your whole view of life. So a good thing to start out is having a routine in terms of something like a meditation routine or something that you do that will calm down your mind, because as long as we're up here and we have this disconnection between the head and the heart or the body, it's really hard to get some answers that will be of benefit, because up here we'll always be in a reactive state. When your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it might be, family member or your boss tells you something, you'll be reactive right away instead of being more reflective and come from this space of knowingness. You'll come from this, oh, this is what I have to do, this is blah blah blah, right? I'm sure you are familiar with all the terms that you put on this, the stress aspect of it. So having a routine in terms of calming yourself down. Meditation is one thing. Listening to some music that calms you down is a really great tool as well. I have a couple of different things I use. There's a song, I'll post a link in the video description, that I love. I use it in the morning as a way of calming me down. It is, I believe it was on Tony Robbins, one of his CDs in terms of from one of his events actually. But what it does is it calms me down. It makes me start out my morning in a very positive, but also a very calm way. So having something that you do in the morning to start out your day to decrease the stress is of huge importance. Another thing I would recommend, or that I use, is I use an essential oil with my clients that's called Balance. Now what this oil does, for me, it's been amazing. So I'll share a funny story with you. I had a huge business meeting with a business here in Toronto where I had to present a sales presentation in terms of a presentation I was hired to do in terms of physiotherapy sales and personal training sales. And it was just one of those mornings where everything will just go wrong. Not that it have to, but for some reason it did. So the printer broke down, there was no ink, it was just disaster. Anyway, so a really good friend of mine, she saw me running around running around chasing my own tail, and she gave me an option of 2 different essential oils, and Balance was the one that I chose. And at that point I had no idea what it was. I picked one. She said pick one, and I picked this one. And so what I did is I put a drop on my wrist and rubbed my wrist together like this. And after about, I would say 5 to 10 minutes, I started noticing that I was starting to be more calm. I started to be able to focus on what I had to do, and this sales presentation actually went fairly well. Wasn't perfect, but under the circumstances, it definitely was as good as it could get. So tools like that is also great, and I use it for my clients, especially when I have them here in my home office. Um, for let's say if they're here first time and it's hard for them to calm down, because when you meet somebody that's going to coach you or guide you through your challenges in life, it takes a little bit of rapport. It takes a little bit of getting used to knowing each other, but also connecting, right? So I find that the essential oils work really, really well when I have clients and they're a little bit, insecure. They might be a little bit worried about sharing their stories or personal things. And having the essential oils in a diffuser here in my office helps create that space and that mood for them to calm down, right? So essentially get out of the head and into the body, which is a great tool. So that's one of the things that I'm really, really fortunate to be able to use with my clients. But getting back to this technique that I wanted to share, which is really, really basic technique of starting a practice of getting out of this headspace and into this heart space. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand and you're going to put your left hand over your heart, and then you're going to take your right hand and put on top of it. And then you're just going to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Now, what you'll notice in the beginning is that your mind will start to take over and just start chattering. But the more you sit with your hands like this, the more you will notice that you start calming down. And over time, you'll notice that all of a sudden your focus shifts from your head to where your hands are placed on your heart. And when that happens, you're going to notice that it's almost like this, how do I explain it? It's almost like a veil that is being kind of removed from your senses. I'm not entirely sure how to phrase it because everybody's experience with this will be different. For me, when I do this, I completely relax and I start noticing that my heart will start giving me different cues in terms of what I'm doing right or what I could change in my life. But I also just get really, really calm and get centered into my body, which is one of the things that can be challenging when you're always in your head in this monkey mind, just running. So this is a really, 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 really simple and really great tool. So I invite you to do this for at least 5 minutes every day. Just when everything seems to be completely off the hook in your life, or there's challenges in your life, or you feel really emotional about something, place your hands like this and just sit with it. Just sit with that emotion, whatever it might be, but don't sit with it in your mind. Really sit with the emotion almost like in between your hands, right? So let's say that you're sad or you're angry. Take that emotion and place it here, and then let your heart open up the wisdom that it has to actually guide you through this emotion. And then little by little, you'll notice subtle shifts in the emotion. You will notice that the emotion is not really what you thought it might be. Because what happens is that our mind will put labels onto specific emotions that we might have. But when we really start diving into the emotion, what it is might not be what the label is. I know this might sound a little bit confusing, but when you get into it and when you start doing this exercise, I will guarantee you that you're going to start noticing the difference. You're going to start noticing this subtle change in what your mind is telling you is true compared to what your heart is showing you is actually what's going on. So I hope you enjoyed this exercise. It's a really, really basic exercise I wanted to share with you, and it's one of my absolute favorites. I love this exercise, and I do it almost every day, especially when I'm in a space where I need a little bit more guidance, or I just need to calm myself down because for me, life can get stressed too because I have so much stuff to do running my own business. So I invite you to do this for at least 5 minutes every day. for a week or two, and then share your comments with me. Let me know how it turns out for you, and let me know how you experience this. Because essentially, this is all about experiencing. It's not about being cognitive and putting a lot of words on it. I have to put words on it to explain the way to do it. However, this is your journey, and I honor that journey, and it is all you. And it's a beautiful journey when you start diving into that heart space. And I'm really excited for you, and I'm really excited to hear back from you to see how this affects your life. So have an amazing day, and I will see you back tomorrow. Bye.